Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Breaking news, it looks like Canelo versus Golovkin has had a roadblock. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing if you want to become part of the gang. Notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, this just in. Shout out to ringtv.com. They published a fresh article. Link is in the description so you can take a look at it and read it in its entirety. And the title alone lets you know what it's about. It says Canelo Golovkin rematch talks hits a roadblock. De La Hoya seeks new opponent for Canelo Alvarez. So I start reading it, and it's saying that De La Hoya is interested in pursuing a fight with Danny Jacobs, Saunders, Gary Spikel Sullivan, or even Jermall Charlo, who looked excellent. I was at his last fight, knocked out my friend Hugo Centeno Jr., friend of the channel, but it was a good performance. And this is what De La Hoya is saying in this article. And he says that they're going to look in other directions because he doesn't believe Triple G wants to fight based on Tom Loeffler, I guess, wanting to create amendments or more money. That's what it basically sounds like, more money than what was initially agreed to when they agreed to fight in May 5th. I'm going to read a quote from De La Hoya. He says, "It's fine. Go and deal with your IBF mandatory, whoever he is. I do believe he has 11 fights. Go deal with him." He says, "Make $1.5 million and good luck. There's no better deal for him out there for a fight with anybody. Golovkin, he's afraid to lose to Canelo. What else do we have to do to make the fight? He'll make a $20+ million payday. He'll be able to redeem and maybe put a stamp on what happened in the first fight and give the fight fans what they want to see. What other hoops do we have to go through? We've complied with everything," right? And it says De La Hoya is willing to go ahead with the rematch under the terms agreed to for May 5th. But the Hall of Famer fighter insists he's not changing the deal. He says it depends on how fast I can make a deal with Daniel Jacobs, Jermall Charlo, or Saunders. It says De La Hoya remarked when asked if a deal can be struck for Canelo Triple G 2. "It can still happen, but I'm not going to wait around for anybody. To stage a big pay-per-view like we are in September, we need at least 3 months. The clock is ticking and we're going to keep moving. I have my first choices. Top of my list is somebody like a Charlo, a Saunders, or Daniel Jacobs." Right? He says, "Who could talk anything bad about those fights? He'll fight the very best like he's always done. Golden Boy Promotions will continue to work with any fighters that the fans want to see. I love any of the 3 possible opponents. Those are the best fights that we can make. Jacobs is a fighter that is on top of his game. In a lot of people's eyes, he beat Golovkin in a very close fight." Right? Wow. And then I guess they reached out to Charlo, and he says, "That would be dope." Charlo told The Ring about a possible fight with Canelo. "I'm ready. If my team likes it, then we'll take it. If it's true anyways, we'll obviously entertain it. I'm ready for that moment. I keep everybody on lock and in tune and up to date with everything." Wow. "My team does a great job at making the moves. Oscar would have to make a lot of sense speaking in money terms to sign a promotional deal with Golden Boy. Hopefully it all works out." Right? Crazy breaking news. Again, you guys can listen to or read the whole article. And basically, it sounds like from reading this article and this interview with De La Hoya, he's saying that Team Golovkin and the representation, Tom Loeffler, is saying that Golovkin wants to change the initial deal that had us a fight on May 5th. And if that's the case, then you have to question some things on Triple G's side. Why were you willing to take that particular deal and the fight was made, and then now all of a sudden you're not willing to take it? You know what I mean? That is a bit suspect. So De La Hoya does have a strong, he makes a strong case. A strong case. That's a good point. You know what I mean? Why was the deal good enough for May 5th? Now, I understand that you could say, oh, but that was before Canelo failed a drug test. He failed 2 drug tests in February. We were willing to take that deal. But the fact is, Triple G, even back in May, he said he still wanted to fight Canelo. So that wouldn't make sense, because you said you believed that Canelo. See, I told you guys, Triple G's side kind of messed it up for themselves, because they kept throwing dirt on Canelo's name even more so, and or not throwing dirt as in they made him fail the drug test, but they kept talking about it, and then they kept saying, going above and beyond, trying to make themselves look better and make him look worse, to the point where the fight was ultimately, it was so much spotlight, the Nevada State Athletic Commission had to do something. They had to find some way to suspend him and have a hearing and stuff, or they would have looked like they're biased and like there was clear favoritism. You know what I mean? They just kept talking and kept talking. They talked themselves out of a payday. Now, they may have talked themselves out of a second payday because they're trying to change the deal and stuff like that. So, a couple questionable things from the Golovkin side. I have to be honest. You know what I mean? And like I said, they didn't force Canelo to fail the drug test. Be clear. But they added, it was already hot. The spot was already hot, but they made the spot hotter. Talking about, and no doctors sent me pictures, muscle injections, saying that you were sent pictures from professional doctors that had proof or whatever that Canelo was cheating in the first fight. And then Abel Sanchez, on top of that, coming out saying that the Nevada State Athletic Commission let Canelo illegally wrap his hands. Those are all things that are damning and damaging to a potential rematch. And then now on top of it, according to De La Hoya, Team Triple G is trying to get a better deal, a better monetary deal than what they had already accepted. So that doesn't really make sense to me why you would want to take the deal. And it was a go, it was a green light in May, and then now all of a sudden you don't want to take it. Is it because you feel Canelo is cheating? But that doesn't make sense, because Team Triple G already publicly declared that they thought he was cheating in the first fight, and you still took the deal. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you think Canelo was cheating in the first fight, and then you had a controversial draw with him, and then you guys renegotiated and had the second fight all scheduled through no fault of Golovkin's, the fight gets canceled, but you still took the deal. So why are you asking for more money right now? You can't say, oh, it's because Canelo failed the drug test, so we don't trust him, because Team Triple G, they already got on record saying, hey, we still want to fight him. But it was because they added to the pressure and to the spotlight and helped put this whole clenbuterol Clingate under a magnifying glass that the fight was ultimately canceled, and Canelo had to withdraw, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission had to do something to punish Canelo, even though it wasn't like a stringent, strict punishment. You know what I mean? 6 months, no fine, and is retroactive from when he failed. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was some super punishment, but they had to do something. You know what I mean? So it is, De La Hoya has a point. Like, why does Triple G need more money than whatever deal he was already? Why did he agree to fight May 5th and he was willing to go through with the fight, but then now all of a sudden you don't? The only thing I can think of, again, is the only thing that has really changed. Canelo hasn't fought, but he failed 2 drug tests. But you said he was cheating the first fight. So why do you need more money because he failed 2 drug tests, especially when he did the hair follicle test since then? And according to that, it doesn't show that he was abusing clenbuterol according to the hair follicle test. I don't know all the details about how much certainty that test produces, but according to that, at least he passed that. You know what I mean? And it didn't look like it was in his system or evidence. He looks in pictures, he looks like he's a bit smaller. You know what I mean? He's coming off of a surgery. So why is it that Team Golovkin is no longer willing to take the deal? So De La Hoya brings up a strong point. Why are you looking to cash out and get a better deal or more money than what you just agreed to for May 5th? We get it. May 5th had nothing, it being canceled had nothing to do with Team Triple G. It's not their fault that happened. However, I just don't understand why is the change. If you were going to agree to it a couple of months ago, why are you not willing to agree to it now? So De La Hoya, he brings up a strong argument, and if you disagree, I just want to know, what are you disagreeing with? He's saying that it's because Team Triple G, they think they're going to lose. You know what I mean? Which is maybe a possibility. So they're trying to, you know what I mean, get more money because they think, hey, maybe they will lose. But like I said, Canelo, he's doing year-round testing now. He failed 2 drug tests, but now he's doing the year-round drug testing. You already said that you would fight him regardless, right? On ESPN, Golovkin said they'll fight him regardless of the layered hand wraps and the stacking and the cast making hand wrap. They were still down to fight him May 5th. He's doing year-round drug testing. He passed a hair follicle test. So again, why would Team Triple G be now seeking a different deal than what they just agreed to a couple of months ago? Like, somebody explain that. So De La Hoya brings up a strong point. Let me know what you guys think. You know what? To be perfectly honest, I told you I'm a bit over this whole Canelo Triple G back and forth drama. I don't care if it's another opponent. If they both fight quality opponents, like let's say Golovkin fights Derevyanchenko, Boo Boo Andre, a Jacobs rematch, Billy Joe Saunders for undisputed, right? Anything like that, then I'm fine with it. And if Canelo fights Charlo, Jacobs, or Saunders, or one of these names, I really don't want to see Canelo versus Gary Spike O'Sullivan, which I think Golden Boy, that's the thing. Oscar De La Hoya is throwing out the best possible names and talking about depending on how long they respond. That could be a little bit of trickery because they've already linked Gary Spike O'Sullivan. He's been on Golden Boy's last 2 cards, Billy Joe Saunders versus David Lemieux, and then he was just on, I think, Ryan Garcia card at the StubHub on the day before Golovkin versus Vanes Martirosyan. So that seems to me more likely than Canelo versus Charlo. I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong. But the reason is Canelo was at 154/155, and that whole time he didn't really even talk about Charlo. Him and his team didn't really say they wanted to make the fight. Also, Daniel Jacobs and Billy Joe Saunders are big threats to anybody in the division. So I would be very impressed with Golden Boy if they pursued one of those 3 tougher options over Gary Spike O'Sullivan. But to me, Gary Spike O'Sullivan is definitely a likely suitor because it's the least in terms of the risk. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter, but I think all those other guys are bigger threats and or champions or former champions and big punches and stuff like that. So we'll see. But if Canelo fights one of those 3, Charlo, Jacobs, or Saunders over Gary Spike O'Sullivan and Golovkin, I'll give Golden Boy and Canelo a whole heap of credit, a hell of a lot of credit. As far as Golovkin, I don't know what he's going to do. It's going to look bad if he gets stripped by the IBF by not fighting Derevyanchenko. And like I said, I really believe this is, to me, Team Triple G, there's some missteps here. I think they did a couple of things that they could have done drastically wrong. At one point, Golovkin was on par and on pace to fight 3 to 4 times a year about. You know what I mean? He was fighting multiple. But then he got to this point where he was so busy like hunting Canelo down where he started letting Canelo and Golden Boy dictate his future. Like he could have, after the Jacobs fight, Billy Joe Saunders start jumping bad, looking to wrong his rights where everyone thought he was afraid of Golovkin and it looked like he was clearly ducking Golovkin. So he started like being aggressive and saying, oh, I got me pinned, come on Triple G string, Triple G spot, and come on Borat, fight me, and Triple G's a pussy. He started wearing all these shirts and all this stuff. And then Golden Boy said, hey, we need time to promote. If you fight Billy Joe Saunders, you ain't getting Canelo because that's not going to be enough time in between. After Canelo beats Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., we want to immediately start promoting Canelo versus Golovkin. So if you fight Billy Joe Saunders in the meantime, you're not going to get it. Then all of a sudden, the negotiations between Billy Joe Saunders and Triple G fall apart. And then Triple G is injured or hurt. His ribs hurt or something from the Daniel Jacobs fight conveniently. And then he fights Canelo in September. So that's what happens when you chase one man, when you stagnate your whole career checking for one person. Now Canelo, still an A-side, with or without a failed drug test. He's still going to be popular. He still has plenty of options. And Golovkin's options, he has options, but none of them are going to be as lucrative as Canelo. And I told you, Team Golovkin, they kept talking and kept, oh, Golovkin, he wants to fight him, but Canelo, he has favoritism in Nevada, and he's stacking his gloves and using a cast, and we have proof that he was cheating the first time, and look at his muscle development. You did all that, and now you may not get the fight. But like I said, for me, I don't really care because I'm just kind of over all of the drama between Canelo versus Triple G. It's still a good fight. It's still a fight that really should happen, like in terms of for the fans, because it's unfinished business. But I don't care at this point. I would almost, I'm at the point where I'd rather see Triple G versus Charlo, Canelo versus Charlo, Canelo versus Jacobs, Triple G versus Billy Joe Saunders, a fresh match. Let me know what you guys think. Link in the description. Shout out to ringtv.com. But it looks like Canelo versus Triple G is still an option, but they're trying to put the pedal to the metal and get something done. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.